Nicolas Cage, good or bad? A challenge, certainly, but not unsolvable.
Oh, I'm a cat. I'm a sexy cat.
We've all been there. Maybe a mention popped up on Twitter. Maybe you overheard friends postulating. Or maybe you were just scrolling through Netflix and you saw him, and you had to ask yourself. Now, some people have very strong opinions either direction without giving that much thought. Those people are wrong. If only it was that easy. If you grew up thinking Nicolas Cage was awesome, then you may have grown up with him during the 90s when he was in all the smash hits. More on that later. But maybe you saw him in Raising Arizona, a Coen Brothers film nonetheless. He's fun and oozing charisma. He chews the scenery, but in a way that steals the show.
You're not just telling us what we want to hear.
No, sir, no way.
Because we just want to hear the truth.
Well, then I guess I am telling you what you want to hear.
And as we know, the Coen Brothers just don't make bad movies. But then maybe you saw him in his very next film, Vampire's Kiss.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z! Huh?
That one muddles the mixture a little bit. But is it possible that what you were seeing was genius and it's your fault if you don't get it?
I never misspelled anything! Not once, not one time!
Well, that stumbling block isn't a huge hurdle when you get to see him in Leaving Las Vegas, a deep character study about an alcoholic who chooses to drink himself in Sin City with the help of Jennifer Jason Leigh, Elizabeth Shue.
What brings you to Las Vegas?
I came here to drink myself to death.
But did you realize that there were 14 movies between Leaving Las Vegas and Vampire's Kiss? One of the reasons it's hard to get a good idea of the man's acting range is because he's just so prolific. To put it in perspective, Daniel Day-Lewis has only been in 21 films since 1971. Nicolas Cage has been in 21 movies since 2017. As of late, he's in 2 to 3 movies a year on average. Being his agent must be a cakewalk because the man will be in anything.
People do not want to see an all-white remake of The Color Purple.
Sucks for them.
And he doesn't seem like he would have to be.
And the Oscar is awarded to Nicolas Cage.
In the mid-90s, he was a box office darling. Guys my age knew him from Con Air, Face Off, and The Rock.
Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, wow. You know, I like history too, and maybe when this is all over, you and I can stop by the souvenir shop together. But right now, I want to find some rockets.
Hell, he was opposite Angelina Jolie in Gone in 60 Seconds. That movie rocks, right?
Okay, let's run.
Well, honestly, they don't. There's a strange thing with movies from that time period where if you asked a bunch of people in your local Walmart about Con Air, they would generally say something like, yeah, I think that movie's pretty good, right?
What did you say, Aunt Selma?
I said take off those damn glasses.
The Cage had a certain Stallone-Schwarzenegger thing going on, where the general audiences just weren't that critical of his generic action films, and I think it's partly because he's just a character.
Ever heard of a line?
Hey, have you ever been dragged to the sidewalk and being until you pissed blood?
Most movies are elevated by 20% because of his crazy performances. You see, we've all seen bad movies, we've seen plenty of bad movies, but we don't make memes out of all of them. For instance,
No, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
stands out because it's not just bad, it's wild. Nicolas Cage makes choices that boggle the mind and make you wonder what director didn't yell cut and give notes. The man is an enigma on and off the screen.
And sometimes Moby will sort of do this little charming snake dance and show his back to me. He's got this like little round circular pattern on the back of his back, and he's doing this dance, and every now and then I'll just turn around and go, "F you, I want to kill you!"
But then the dark times came. Right after an uptick in movies where even I would say he gave pretty serviceable performances like Adaptation, Matchstick Men, National Treasure, and Lord of War, there was a substantial dip in quality.
Oh God, Harold, are you okay?
The Wicker Man, Ghost Rider, Next, Bangkok Dangerous, Knowing, Bad Lieutenant. I mean, what the hell is this?
Shoot him again.
What?
Fool. His soul's still dancing.
Have you seen the Harvey Keitel version? He should have won an Oscar. Then we had a pretty sweet reprieve in Kickass. This scene was described by some as the minute that saved Nicolas Cage's career, but all that goodwill was wasted with him going right back into the garbage can with The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Season of the Witch, and
Thought you were dead.
You hoped I was dead.
It will never make sense to me why Disney decided that Nicolas Cage, of all people, was going to be the guy that they were going to use to try to launch multiple brands. I understand that National Treasure did well, but they tried like 5 more times. And this all still leaves us with the question of, why does this man take all of these terrible roles? Well, one theory is his spending habits are so wild that he needs the money to pay off debts. But how badly can a man spend his money?
By far Cage's costliest purchases, though, they were the numerous properties that he bought and then spent millions of dollars remodeling and having giant parties in. These included a dozen estates variously described as being palatial in nature, including 2 actual castles in Europe, as well as 2 private islands in the Bahamas and the famed LaLaurie Mansion in New Orleans.
Nicolas Cage returns stolen Mongolian dinosaur skull he bought at gallery. Tyrannosaurus. What? He bought it for $276,000.
That's a pretty good deal.
Over the years, my movie taste started to develop, and Cage settled into an area where I would describe him as not very good, but fun to watch, so what the hell, go watch his movies and have a good time and try not to overthink it. But recently, I had to rethink that.
Okay. Rethink that move, son.
Because recently, I saw
Crazy evil.
the second film by Panos Cosmatos, and it is a masterpiece. I mean in every way. The cinematography is some of the most beautiful and ethereal I have ever seen in my entire life. But the most shocking part of the movie to me was Nicolas fucking Cage. I felt that he gave the performance of a lifetime, except it dawned on me, he's been giving this performance. And Panos figured out a way to make a movie that highlights his strange choices rather than making him stick out. This performance is maybe his most Nicolas Cagey, but rather than fight the tone of the film, it fits in like a thing that fits into another thing really well. So for me, the answer to the question is, Nicolas Cage is one of the greatest actors of our time, but you have to write a movie around that performance. And if you do, it's gonna be gold. Thanks for watching. Till next time. My bedroom right now, for some reason, is approximately the heat of Satan's butthole, so if you see me starting to sweat, well, now you know what's going on. Let's talk about trailers.
This summer, America's favorite obese family is back.
In my opinion, trailers are meant to accomplish certain tasks. The ultimate task, obviously, being getting people to go